Yo dudes! Welcome to Easy Moroccan Tagine. This is quick, simple, using store cupboard staples, and will make you healthier and happier. Mostly store cupboard staples.
And we're making a lovely sesame flatbread to go with it too. So it's very all-encompassing, well worth trying, takes about 30 minutes, feeds 4 people, and is incredibly delicious.
Okay, first step, we've got a pan on a high heat.
We have chopped 1 red onion. We have chopped 1 carrot into thin little strips because we want it to cook quickly.
I'm using a little bit of oil. Obviously you can make this oil free if you want. We're using a wide bottom non-stick pan, but we're gonna go in with a couple of squirts of oil.
In goes our onions. Check out that lovely sizzle.
We're gonna add our finely sliced carrot along with our onion. Always when I'm adding carrot to the pan, I'm gonna go in with a slight pinch of salt just to help release some of its moisture. And while this is happening, you could get your twin just to slice up and add some chili.
So garlic we're going to put in a little bit later because garlic typically cooks a lot quicker.
So you can use whatever type of veg you have. We've got about 1.2 kg of veg. We've got sweet potato, which is going to give a nice richness. We're going to leave the skin on, and we've got a pepper and some courgette.
Okay, so you'll see our frying pan is looking well packed. So right now we've gone from frying to steaming, so there's not much space for the water to evaporate. So I'm going to add in a generous pinch of salt. We're going to go in with about 200 ml of our veg stock. And
just give it a nice stir, and then we're gonna pop the lid on, reduce the heat to medium heat, and we're gonna leave it stew away for probably 10 minutes there, stirring every now and again just to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom of the pot. Okay, so while our veg is sweating, we are going to make some flatbreads. Simple, easy flatbreads using store cupboard staples.
So we have 200 grams of flour of choice. We've just gone with a simple white flour because we're gonna make this kind of as authentic. 150 ml of soy yogurt.
So any type of yogurt will do perfect.
Baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Ideally, I would have mixed the baking powder in with the flour before the thing, but this will work out fine. This is just to show how adaptive. I'm gonna go with 3 tablespoons of sesame seeds because I'm gonna make these a little bit sesame flatbreads. Woo! And I'm gonna go with about half a teaspoon of salt. That might look like a tablespoon. Let's just pretend that's a teaspoon. Take our hands, make sure they're clean, and in you go. Start with the flour first so that it doesn't stick to your hands. And then we're just gonna get your hand like a claw and then just slowly bring it all together. So I'm gonna knead my dough just for about 5 to 6 minutes, just until it starts to come together and have this lovely texture. At the moment it's a little bit sticky. I wanna activate the gluten strands in it so that it suddenly just holds its shape better, and it's just gonna be one more cohesive dough.
Okay, so I've stewed our veg down for probably about 5 minutes now. Kind of most of the water's evaporated, it's still moist, it's up, and sweet potatoes aren't quite done. We're gonna add our spices now. I've got 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, teaspoon of ground coriander, teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, depending on what you like. It'll add a nice sweetness, and a pinch of black pepper. So we're gonna add all them to the pan.
And if you didn't have all those, what would you do, Dave?
I just add a little bit of, you could just add a
ground cumin.
Yeah, ground cumin, or even curry powder would work fine as well, if you were really stuck. I've got 1 tin of chickpeas. I can add them to the pan too now. So that's just a 400 gram tin, which I drained, leaving me with a net volume of 100 or 240 grams. 240, yeah. I'm gonna go in with 2 tablespoons of tamari.
We do apologize to anyone from Morocco watching this. Tamari obviously is normally not added, but we're not gonna bake this as traditionally a tagine is. So this
we're gonna go in with a tablespoon of
maple syrup.
We have, how much?
30 grams, about 3 tablespoons of dried raisins. Well, raisins are dried.
These are gonna plump up and become super succulent. And finally, I've got 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. I'm gonna add all this down. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the final 200 ml of veg stock, and that's pretty much nearly everything in the pan now. I was in Morocco last year, and certainly I used to think that tagine it referenced some tomato kind of stew type dish using a lot of Moroccan style veg, but it's actually the dish that it's cooked in. It's a tagine pot. And it means that it's steamed and succulent as moisture. So that's why we'll always cook a tagine with the lid on, because it keeps the moisture and the vegetables are succulent and delicious.
So you'll notice my dough is lovely. It's smooth, it's soft, and when I put my finger in, it's lovely. I'm not gonna leave this to rise because there's no yeast in it. We're using baking powder as a rising agent. But the big thing you wanna do is knead it until it feels soft, smooth, and it just feels like the way you want a dough. And that might sound really, really weird, but it's not to overthink it. It's to connect in with your You know, we've been baking.
Inner baker.
Yeah, inner baker, right. So take a knife, we're gonna chop that into 4. So this is gonna be our 4 flatbreads. So the easiest way to make sure your doughs are nice and spherical is to make sure you shape your dough into a little round ball first. Easiest way to do that is just keep rolling it back on itself. Oh!
It's starting to look fantastic. It really, really is. Look at that.
The addition of raisins, many people don't like raisins, but they go wonderful in their tagine. They add that sweetness, they plump up with that sauce, and they end up a carrier for those lovely spices.
And the spices are just brilliant. So we'll give that another couple of minutes.
Okay, so take our little dough balls, take our beautiful, what do we call it? Marble rolling pin.
Okay, so the tagine is done. It's perfect. We're gonna leave it cook away. I'm gonna transfer this to cook away over here, and we are going to fry off our flatbreads.
To cook our flatbreads, we have a pan on high heat. We're gonna go in with a few tablespoons of oil, or a few sprays of oil. This is a nice simple way to do it. I'm gonna put some sesame seeds in the bottom of the pan. I'm gonna go in with our flatbread now, just to accentuate the note of that. I'm gonna go with a little pinch of salt. So we're gonna cook these at a medium heat rather than a really high heat, because we do want the heat to kind of penetrate into the center of them. So because we use baking powder simply requires moisture and heat for it to suddenly start to rise. Is an indication of rising.
So we roll this one really thin, and I think rolling them thin works even better. See the way it puffs up? And we've kind of put a bit of oil on both sides just to make them a little more decadent.
A little more indulgent.
But look at that, that's proper, authentic flatbread. Boom. So that's the last of the flatbreads. They have turned out beautiful. Rolling them thin is the best. Like, see them there for fantastic.
And if you, like, obviously many people cook without oil, but if you, obviously you can bake them in it is another way to do it. But if you're gonna fry them, a little bit of oil just gives that more indulgence, that more beauty.
Final finishings.
So tagine, you'll see it's melted in them, and it's kind of melted in the mouth like texture. The flavors have really accentuated. I'm going with finely chopped mint or parsley. Obviously mint, some people might find a bit too strong. Go whatever you like. I think mint just adds that lovely strong aromas, Middle Eastern. Oh.
I'm gonna go with some sesame seeds on top. Oh, the mint sounds amazing.
Little blob of yogurt there on top. That's soy yogurt.
And ladies and gentlemen, that would conclude
my favorite way.
Easy.
Well, this is the best way to eat it. Look, get a bit of flatbread. Oh. It's so
banging.
There's so much flavor going on in there.
This is a wholesome dinner. It's perfect. Store cupboard staples with some fresh veg, about 1.2 kg of veg. Flatbreads were easy at a store cupboard staples. This is a super tasty dish.
It took 30 minutes from start to finish.
It will freeze well. It'll last for 3 days in your fridge. Great one to make for you and the family. It's healthy, low in calorie, high in fiber, and high in nutrition.
And deep flavors. If anyone wants to learn more about how to cook, check out our Ultimate Vegan Cooking course. It really holds your hand and teaches you the principles of how to cook without
It really does, yeah. Link to that down below.
Thanks for watching. Bye.